All right, loading into game one in a best of three series. This is the first series of the season 3 discount team house tournament. On the blue side, we have team BBBBB, also team 2. And on the red side, we have team tilt targeters, also known as team 3. So far, we have a pretty standard opener from both sides, getting some vision down just to make sure that there aren't any invades coming in. Looks like Caitlyn's going to be putting a deep ward here. Does not quite hit the misfortune, unable to check that there's anybody in that bush, but it looks like they are aware that someone could be there. And a ward has come down onto the tri-bush. Does spot out Bryson on the Amumu. And just to take a look at the comps here, we have a pretty strong team fight composition coming in for BBBBB. We have the Amumu Misfortune combo with a nice backup of the Galio. Yone, of course, can be that split pressure, but also can team fight quite decently himself, and Rengar can also help with some picks, and if Rengar goes too deep, we have the backup from the Galio. Double teleports also coming in for Team BBBBB. For Team Tilt Targeters, we have a pretty solid pick composition. Nocturne Vex, of course, with a long-range engage, and Caitlyn Lux with decent long-range follow-up damage. In terms of the laning phase, Caitlyn Lux should have a lot of priority in the bot lane just with the amount of linear poke that they have. If a Lux Q does land, it should be pretty guaranteed damage coming down. The one mismatchup that we can already notice is going to be this mid lane. I believe the Vex was picked earlier and the Galio was a nice response to it. There was also a lane swap. OS Firewall is the top laner for this team and he did go mid, whereas CJ Flash went top, usually the mid laner. And so against the Galio, it can be really tough for Vex to do anything because Galio can match that lane clear, or the wave clear rather. And Vex really wants to push lane and try to get roams going with the magic damage shield that the Galio has, as well as being able to just match wherever Vex goes. That's a really solid option. And it looks like there was actually a first blood going over to Team Tilt Targeters on the bot lane. A nice early start. And the kill does get picked up by the Lux. First blood goes over to them. And this is already the power of this bot lane combination between Lux's and Caitlyn. Just so much long range poke and damage. If the Lux Q lands, it's pretty much a guaranteed Caitlyn Q. Perhaps a headshot, perhaps a trap getting set up as well. CJ Flash with a very aggressive flash forward to try to pick off the Tryndamere at level 2. He did have the level advantage on the Yone. Does not quite get him. Tryndamere not needing to use his flash either, so a summoner advantage for Tryndamere here, but the wave is crashing into him. And it looks like Nocturne will be spotted on the top side of the map by Rengar. And they will just back away. Rengar now looking to possibly gank the mid lane. Yone continues to push into this turret, bullying the Tryndamere with the safety of his E. Rengar will decide against it. We'll do the top side scuttle instead, and looks like Fiend Busa on this Nocturne will continue to try to hit level 6 as soon as possible by doing full clears. Taking a look at itemizations for both sides, pretty standard items for both sides. Yone was already able to get some early purchases in. In the mid lane, a decent bit of trade back. But again, this Galio is a very tanky unit. The Vex isn't going to be able to do too much damage. Now, there will be a little bit of a possible skirmish in the bot river, but it looks like Nocturne will just respect the Rengar and back away. Will lose the Herald for it. And Rengar is spotted on his Raptors. Caitlyn Lux has gone home already. Lux has gone for the tier 1 boots, and the Dirk coming in for Caitlyn. A lot more poking power now. This will be the full poke Caitlyn build with First Strike. This does not really focus on any kind of DPS. Oh, a nice catch out onto the Amumu. A lot of decent damage going down, and the trap will land as well, and so follow-up headshot will be there. Amumu is quite tanky though, but now because of his health being so low, he won't be able to sit in that bush looking for a free Q. Now Galio does go in onto Black Rose here. Another chunk of damage taken off on this Vex. Vex is low mana as well, so he will have to go home after this wave and teleport back into lane. Nocturne is hovering in the area, but not quite level 6. He is level 4. And so far, other than the early first blood picked up by Lux in the bot lane, it's been a pretty uneventful game. It's 5 minutes into the game. Taking a look at farm, dead even in the mid lane. 13 CS lead for Drowsy on Caitlyn. And a pretty substantial lead for Yone here on against the Tryndamere. And jungle quite dead even as well. Both junglers have not looked to do any kind of early gank here. Both junglers really excel once they hit level 6. It's before then they don't really get much ganking power unless it's really set up by the laners themselves. And so they're both just trying to rush level 6 as quickly as possible. Just based on experience, Fiend Busa should be hitting level 6 before this Rengar. Rengar did waste a little bit of time in that mid lane trying to get a gank set up. Lux Q barely missing. And Vex is greeted for another wave, or the Galio has gone home a little later, so he was the one that greeted a wave. And both mid laners has used their teleport to get back to lane. And now that Galio is level 6, he will be looking for a potential counter gank at any point. And another nice long-range pickup. And the Lux gets her second kill of the game. And once again, this is the power of Caitlyn Lux. If any of their abilities land, they can just kind of combo them. And Rengar looking to now possibly gank this bot lane. Still level 5, however. Looks like it's more of a cover for this Misfortune, making sure she doesn't get dove. In the top lane, level 6 fight, both sides going at each other. Of course, the Tryndamere does have his ultimate, so he can play a little bit more aggressive here. And he will flash forward and secure the kill onto CJ Flash. A nice play from Tryndamere using his flash there. Yone was not able to R, not able to react quite quickly enough. And now that the wave is pushed into the mid lane, will this Vex be looking for a possible roam? She is spotted by the ward. And because both sides, both lanes are pushed up, he will not be able to do so. And this is kind of unfortunate. In terms of macro play, bot lane should have been pulling the wave if they wanted to Vex to try to roam bot as soon as she hit level 6. But it looks like they did get the crash in, so Vex will have to wait a little bit longer. We'll happily continue to farm. And so far, 7 minutes, 50 seconds into the game, a 3-kill lead for Team Tilt Targeters. A little bit of a gold lead as well, 1,500 gold about. Unfortunately, however, this red team does have a clock that they're fighting against. The longer this game goes on, Team BBB will have much more power. This Yone will become very strong considering how far ahead he is in farm. Galio, of course, a lot of value just in the late game. And this Misfortune and Mumu combo is really the main star of this team. If they get any sort of nice pick with the Amumu engaging, it's instant death with Amumu ult follow-up. And of course, they can just go for team fights as well with a lot of AoE value. It looks like Fiend Busa will finally be hitting level 6 off of this red buff. And Rengar was actually ahead on that level 6 there. He was already level 6 finishing up his blue buff. Taking a look at farm, yes, Rengar is ahead by 5 CS, just about a camp. And now Vex constantly trying to look for something to do once the wave is pushed in or if Galio is missing. This mid lane has a lot of global presence just with the roaming power. And so they're going to be looking for something at all times. Caitlyn and Lux ult combo will land. It looks like the Misfortune was unable to block the ultimate onto the Amumu, but it did not matter. He is too tanky. And a nice Q will land onto the Misfortune here. Will there be follow-up? Yes, but not quite enough damage yet. But because of this prio, Team Tilt Targeter should be able to just start this dragon. Quite uncontested. Rengar is in the base. It's really unfortunate. Although they were able to get the blue team bot lane to go home, that could have been 2 potential kills for Caitlyn Lux here, and that would have put them at 5-0. A really, really nice lead it would have been for them. Lux helping out her jungler, able to finish off that dragon. Caitlyn looking for another extra plate while all of that was going on. Drowsy will be very happy with the amount of gold that's in his pocket now. It looks like he's going to be rushing the collector, so really trying to put his foot on the pedal here, continue to get this lead rolling. And surprisingly, despite both junglers being level 7, they still are not looking for any kind of ganks. And this is a little bit unfortunate because both junglers really spike hard at level 6 and can be looking for something. I think they're just respecting the counter jungle potential of both junglers. But once again, it is Team Tilt Targeters that is on the clock. They will need to make something happen quite soon. It's just so hard to do so, knowing that Galio could be anywhere, just immediately shutting down with a counter gank. And a gank onto the mid lane, but a nice fear from Black Rose will scare off the Rengar. And he'll have to go back into the jungle, lick his wounds. Unable to make anything happen out of there. Now an engage onto the Lux here. Lux will have to flash away. Although the Misfortune ult is there. Oh, Lux walks actually back into it. And in the top lane, Yone will land his ult onto the Tryndamere. Tryndamere ult has to be used as well just to survive. And a little bit of a blunder there in the bot lane. It must have just been a mispathing. Lux walking back into the Misfortune R definitely could have survived that. And it looks like this Amumu will continue just play this bush. And because Team Tilt Targeters does not have any tanks, they will have to just respect it. Now, will Caitlyn be able to land this R? It is blocked this time by this Misfortune. Heal expended unnecessarily, but better safe than sorry. And the first kill picked up for Team BBBBB. Both junglers now near the Herald. It looks like neither side will start it up. There is vision in the Herald pit by team Red Team. Galio will teleport to the mid lane, continue pressure, and Vex will use this teleport timing to get back to lane as well after getting a purchase. Galio's first item of choice will be Everfrost, the utility tank he will provide for the team. Dustblade completed for this Rengar already. Looks like Nocturne has not been able to purchase his first item just yet. Everfrost, the item of choice for Vex as well, so both mid laners mirroring each other with a very similar global utility presence. Caitlyn has completed the Collector and another Dirk working on that Youmuu's. Once again, full lethality poke build. Youmuu's completed for this Misfortune, a little bit more mobility. And now with Dragon spawning in about 2 minutes, both junglers will look to be playing the bot side of the map. We'll have to see if they're each of them started up first. And this Galio already looking really, really tanky. This Vex is not really going to do much damage to him. And now with Dragon spawning a minute 30 seconds, turret platings will be falling quite soon. In terms of advantage for the lanes, Yone has a much stronger lead in the top lane. Just from the farm, he is up 40 CS. Quite a substantial amount. However, in the bot lane, of course, Lux, Caitlyn ahead with the plate goal. They have been able to take down 3 whole plates, so that's really nice for them. And the mid lane remains quite dead even. Okay, now it looks like Fiend Busa is possibly looking for a gank in the bot lane. He is waiting in the top side tri-bush. Not quite using the ultimate. Misfortune is spotted. This could have been an ultimate right here, because she is quite isolated. However, Rengar is now here to back them up. A nice hook will land onto the Caitlyn. Full wombo combo. Both bot laners unable to respond at all, and Rengar didn't even need to be there. And the Nocturne ult comes in after the entire combination is over. Unfortunately, the Caitlyn getting caught out there with cleanse just a few seconds from cooldown is super unfortunate. And that is the power of Misfortune and Mumu. Just 2 buttons is really all that's necessary, and they are able to turn it around just like that, despite being poked out the entirety of the bot laning phase. So very nice engage from them. Now Mumu continuing to make plays here, looking for another catch onto the Vex. He does have one more Q available. He will land it again, but this time no follow-up. We'll take a turret shot, and Vex able to turn it around. A little bit of a over-aggression from Bryson there. And with the jungle, with the support being down, They can pressure an objective. It looks like Nocturne will decide to go for the Herald this time around. And Rengar is on the bot side of the map, so this appears to be the right call for now. As long as Team Tilt Targeters are able to just not contest, they should be okay. But it actually looks like Rengar is not going to be doing it. We'll continue to farm the camp. So Nocturne getting a very uncontested and free Herald. The Herald will be huge though, and this Herald should definitely be popped in the mid lane just so that it opens up the map. Both mid laners being the roaming mid laner champions that they are, whoever gets that first turret is going to have a huge advantage in terms of roaming. Amumu looking to try to catch out this Caitlyn from the fog of war, but the Caitlyn does sidestep it away. Now Rengar is heading to the bot side of the map. Lots of movement speed. He will be spotted. Actually, no, that is the blue ward, so he will not be spotted just yet. He does have his ultimate up. Will he decide to engage on this bot lane? Bryson continuing to play this alcove. And there just isn't any answer to it. Yes, they have a ward in the bush, but they're just giving this bot lane so much breathing power. And Vex needs to be very careful here not to get caught up by this. Rengar will keep his distance. And Galio will use this opportunity to push in one more wave and try to get priority for this dragon before it starts. Rengar now heading to the bot side once again. Does have ultimate. Will hold it for now. And Team Targeter's bot lane is playing this really well. They know that Rengar threat is always there. Nocturne is not in the area, so they're going to just be respecting it. And a solo kill comes in for CJ Flash in the top lane against Tiger DK. A nice combo. Did not even have to use his ultimate, actually, so just straight up using his CC with his Q, empowered Q. Chernomir, I'm not sure if he had his ultimate there, but he does still have it. It's quite crazy just how much of a non-factor these junglers both sides have been in this game, despite being quite strong initiators themselves. They just can't do anything and just choosing to farm instead. Of course, the Galio is a big deterrent against red team here. And now Vex will be looking for a roam in the top lane. Will land his initial damage. Will get the Yone quite low, but he knows better than to go in on that. Yone still has R, so he plays that smart. Amumu now looking for an engage over the wall. Will land, and the Galio follow-up was well. The exhaust will go onto the Misfortune. Her damage is cut down, but the cleanse immediately coming in from the Caitlyn. The Q will land onto the Amumu. A nice pickup. And the Caitlyn R is blocked by the Galio. Will walk away. A nice timed gank. Now Vex will go in onto the Rengar. Flash used to guarantee, and Nocturne does arrive to secure the kill. And this is just fine. Nocturne getting the kill in this kind of scenario works out because, once again, Vex is a utility champion in this scenario because of her item of choice. Now, a huge engage comes in from Galio. Takes a chunk of damage. I'm not sure why Fiend Boosted decided to flash there. It was a little bit over-ambitious considering there was no way they were going to kill that Galio. But overall, he does keep his mid laner alive, so it works out. Now, 19 minutes into the game, 5 kills to 6. The gold lead has been caught up, only about a 700 gold lead now coming in for Tilt Targeters. And I believe a lot of this gold deficit is in the lead for the red team on bot lane and for blue team top lane. Yone continuing to abuse his E to try to get this early turret. Will take it down. A nice chunk of change, and that will be the gold lead swing. Taking a look at items, Caitlyn has completed her 2 lethality items. Her ult will hurt quite a bit, and Misfortune still working on her second one. Probably will be able to afford it as soon as she goes home. In the top lane, we have Kraken Slayer coming in for CJ Flash, as well as Tiger DK. Guard Breaker, or Stride Breaker rather, is the item of choice for Nocturne. And Rengar has not quite picked up his second item yet, but has the Duskblade. And really smart itemization coming in from the Galio here. Going for the Mercury Treads. Knows that he is not the damage dealer. He just needs to be tanky. He just needs to survive. And that will help him quite a bit against just the Lux Bindings and the Vex fears. Now another engage comes in from X Bryson. The Misfortune R will be enough to take out Samdi. And once again, that combo just works out like a charm. And Rengar was here once again, but he's not needed. He was here as a backup and a follow-up, but not needed. Now Rengar will go in onto the Caitlyn. She will ultimate. Will it land? No, the Misfortune with the block. A nice dodge from Tiger DK to get away from the empowered Q for CJ. And with the Mountain Drake spawned, let's see if either of the junglers look to prioritize it at all. Vex now looking for a sneaky hunt here. Does not know where the Rengar is recalling. And once again, this is the issue that we're having for Team Tilt targeters. Vex is a roaming champion, and there's no setups at all going on. Vex should normally be looking for picks with the Nocturne, but they're not moving together in sync. Bot lane was at home, and so Vex is really just looking for somebody just recalling out in the open, and that's not really a consistent way of trying to play this matchup. So Team Tilt target is not able to utilize their comp at all. Now, the Dragon has been started up by Red Team. Teleport does come in for Yone. Of course, Tiger DK does not have teleport, so they will have to just completely give it up, and that's the power of teleport. Lux will try to go for a steal. Lux will Ulta will come in, but not quite enough. Teleport was expended, of course, by Yone, not really resulting in much other than the fact that they were able to secure the Dragon, so that alone is enough. Yone will continue to poke out this Vex in the mid lane just to give Galio a little bit more priority so that he can crash the wave and go home. In the meantime, Tryndamere was able to push in the wave, get a little bit more farm undisturbed, but with his turret being down, he wasn't able to do much work into that turret just yet. Hullbreaker completed already for the Yone. Now, X Bryson will be going in here. He is alone, but nice follow-up from the Galio will keep him alive. I think if Galio didn't come him, he would have died. Misfortune R, just the zone. Will this ult land? And it will. X Bryson sidestepping his own bodyguard there of the Galio. And it's a huge relief that Drowsy was able to pick that up, but because this gold lead was starting to swing in blue team's favor, but now it's dead even at 36,400 each. Nocturne is top lane. He holds his ultimate for now, playing it a little bit safe. Now Black Rose needs to be careful not to get caught out by this Rengar here. Nocturne ult will come in, goes in, but they are now targeting two different units. Nocturne now rejoining the fray. Black Rose has already gone down. Yone now feared. Will he be able to complete the kill? Yes, he is. And Galio not even needing to ult there. And just no synergy, unfortunately, there. Everyone going for separate targets. Very unfortunate situation. And the Yone needs to be bursted down, but he had just too much time to get value with his abilities. And now that Yone is so ahead, it's starting to really show. It doesn't matter how many numbers Team Tilt Targeters throws at them. It's just not enough. And now two turrets just going to get beat down for Team BBBBB. And now the gold lead has significantly swung by 3,000 in favor of blue team. This is where things get really dicey. Unfortunately, Lux, Caitlyn, Vex, Nocturne, all of these champions need vision in order to get their long-range engages going. With the map being pushed so much into their side, they're not going to be able to put any kind of ward coverage safely in order to get these picks that is desired. Caitlyn R doesn't do a nice bit of chunk damage to this Misfortune now. Lux ult will barely miss. Of course, will not have killed, but might have scared this Misfortune enough to go home. But as I was saying, the team comp is not just able to be fully utilized with the vision discrepancy here. They do have decent coverage in their jungle, and so if somebody walks in, perhaps the support, they should be able to get a pick. But so far, it is very difficult to do so. One thing to note, though, is because this Galio is in the top lane and his ultimate is not full global, this is a good opportunity to try to get some sort of dive or engage in this mid lane here while the Galio cannot join. So Team Tilt Targeter should be looking to do that. Instead, they are looking to perhaps go top lane, maybe catch out this Galio. He is caught out. Misfortune going to be landing a nice ultimate, but a shutdown will go over to Fiend Busa. Now the rest of the team engages. However, Rengar was able to solo out the Lux, who was by herself. Now it is a 3 versus 3. Amumu will hit a huge flank from behind. Nocturne will use his ultimate to go into the Rengar, but he was already very low, so it does not result in much. And the Rengar will get multiple kills here, able to pick off a very low Drowsy as well. And now Tryndamere will fight back. Should be able to flash for flash and pick up the kill. Tryndamere gets 3 kills in that scenario, all without the Vex even present. So overall, not too bad, but the gold lead is still in Team BBBB's favor, just because of how much early value they were able to get. The entire fight started off with Galio getting picked off, so his ult was not able to be used, but because of the Misfortune ult just hitting both Fiend Busa and Drowsy, they couldn't do much after the fact. And of course, Lux trying to join the fight a little bit late, was able to land his ultimate, but gets picked off in a situation where Rengar shines. Now Vex tries to rescue his support, unable to do so. Will the Yone go down, and the kill gets donated over to the Caitlyn. So a 1-for-1 trade in the bot lane here. And on the opposite side of the map, Tryndamere is starting to use his pushing power, does end up getting the turret. Now Vex checking the Dragon Pit with his ultimate. Galio single-handedly guarding this entire entrance to the river. He knows that there is simply no way that red team can enter this area with Tryndamere not here. Of course, Yone is dead. It is a 4 versus 4, but they have to respect the Amumu. And they will give it up, Vex being as low as she is. However, for that, Tryndamere gets one more turret. Continues to push that wave. Let's go ahead and take a look at the farm. And still a 40 CS differential in the top lane despite the splitting. The junglers are dead even. Mid is quite even as well. A decent lead for Caitlyn here with about 40 to 50 CS lead on this Misfortune. And now 27 minutes into the game, it will be an Infernal Soul that will be coming up. So 2 dragons to 1 in favor of Team BBBBB. And of course the dragon is on the table as well. So Yone is looking to get some control in the topside river before anybody arrives. The bot lanes will meet up in the middle. And this is really scary for Drowsy because he cannot really step up against this Rengar or Galio. Of course, the same could be said for Misfortune, but she always has the shield and the potential of Galio just coming in to rescue and bail them out. And in the top lane, unfavorable trade goes in favor of CJ Flash. And Tryndamere has to ult just to survive, has to back away. There was a large wave as well, so there was just too much passive damage coming in. And Yone will continue to push in the top lane. Nocturne is in the area. There is a pretty big damage discrepancy. Oh, Yone ult used to dodge out on the Lux R and will immediately execute the Tryndamere knowing he doesn't have damage, and the Yone just gets away. Yomu is used by the Caitlyn to try to catch up, but in the meantime, Baron will be going down, and the Galio ult comes in from downtown, will secure the kill onto the Nocturne, and now Caitlyn forced to flash as well. Yone's still alive, will have value. Caitlyn will try to go for a last-ditch execution on this Yone, will not be able to do so. Lux now on the run, will go down to the Yone. And that should be the nail in the coffin. Just a huge swing and a miss from Team Tilt Targeters, trying to pick off that Yone in a 3 versus 1. But Yone just extremely strong with the Hullbreaker, of course. Excels in a single situation. Able to dodge out in a lot of the combo. And game 1 between Team 2 and Team 3 will go to Team 2, Team BBBBB.